New details tonight as we come on the air. The woman accused of gunning down a Church's Chicken employee Monday night has been identified. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Darcy Thomas.
And I'm Daryl Green. Memphis police tell us this is 45-year-old Monica Williams. And tonight they have a warrant issued for her arrest. While police try to find Williams, Fox 13's Dominique Dillon has been digging into her past. We found out it was a violent past.
Dominique is joining us tonight from Church's Chicken in Orange Mound. Dominique, you talked with a woman that Williams says stabbed 20 years ago.
Records show in 2009, Williams was convicted of an aggravated assault that happened 5 years prior. I got my hands on that report, and it details how Williams attacked a pregnant woman. The details share how Williams stabbed this woman, and I spoke with this woman this afternoon. I tracked her down, and she shared how her son was born shortly after that stabbing.
I felt like it had to have been some type of setup, to be honest, because how did she even have this big old Jason knife on her already?
Israel Britt Taylor says Monica Williams attacked her in Orange Mound in 2004. Britt Taylor says she was 8 months pregnant at the time. She says her son's father called her over to give her money. She says as she was driving away, Williams hit her car with a large tree branch.
She approached me. We was in an altercation. I'm trying to get her away from me, but I'm not gonna lie, I beat the, you know what, I fought her. I fought her up off me. Next thing I know, she was stabbing me.
Britt Taylor says the stress from that fight resulted in her son's umbilical cord getting wrapped around his neck. She says she was rushed to the hospital and her baby was delivered via C-section.
I didn't even know about this chick. And she told the detective she was willing to kill me for this guy. And I wouldn't even date my ex at the time.
Records show Williams served 3 years for the attack. 20 years later, Williams, now 45, is wanted again, this time for murdering 48-year-old Anitra West while she was working at Church's Chicken in Orange Mound Monday night.
To see her do something like that, I was like, wow. And wow, I knew it was coming because she's always been wow.
Police have issued a warrant for first-degree murder for Williams. If you have seen her or you know where she is, call Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH. Daryl?
That is Fox 13's Dominique Dillon live in Orange Mound tonight. Dominique, thank you.
Fox 13 News at 9 starts now.
I am so grateful. It brings some relief knowing that this person will no longer be able to do things like that to someone else.
But we pray for her and her family, because her family has been affected just as much as we have.
These two parents received word today that police arrested the woman accused of gunning down their daughter. 48-year-old Anitra West was the Church's Chicken employee police say was murdered on the job in Orange Mound. But tonight, suspect 45-year-old Monica Williams sits in the Shelby County Jail East, in fact, after being on the run for days. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for Fox 13 News at 9. I'm Darcy Thomas.
And I'm Daryl Green. This is an interview you'll see only here on Fox 13. Let's go to Daniel Wilkerson. He spoke exclusively with those parents. He's live tonight outside the Church's Chicken where that murder happened. So, Daniel, first of all, it's hard to imagine how those parents are able to give that sort of grace this soon after their daughter's murder. How did they take the news of the arrest?
You know, it's a complex situation. Darcy and Daryl, good evening to you. Good evening to you at home. They are godly people. You heard them say it off the top. Even amongst all their pain, their thoughts are with the suspect's family. But still, they lost a daughter. So in that sense, they're glad the suspect is off the street.
It's a situation no parent wants to experience.
When you're a mother and you raise children and they have children which are your grandchildren, you always look that it would be you that would go before them and not them before you.
Monday, Bruce and Antoinette Stevens got the news the woman accused of murdering their daughter is now in custody.
It's relief that she's not on the street.
Police announced Monday they had 45-year-old Monica Williams in custody. She was on the run since investigators say she shot and killed 48-year-old Anitra West a week before. Officers say Williams murdered West, an employee at the Church's Chicken on Park Avenue in Orange Mound. Police put out this picture of the suspect taken near the drive-through window that day. She had purple hair then, but had a noticeably different hairstyle Monday when officers captured her mugshot. The Stevens live in Colorado, but say they learned of their daughter's death last week while in Orlando.
And this happened while we were on vacation. And 4 hours before we came back, Anitra couldn't come because she was working.
Anitra's father, a pastor, says they were devastated.
It was hard. We were struck. We were surprised. We were hurt. But immediately, her and I, we prayed immediately that God give us strength.
Their former son-in-law, their daughter's ex-husband Lorenzo West, says the daughter he shares with Anitra heard the news of the arrest.
She said, I told you they were going to get her. I said, I knew they was going to get her. It was just, she was too famous. You know, there's nowhere to hide when you're that famous. And nobody's, yeah. Purple hair, and I mean, nobody's going to hide you, you know, when everybody's looking for you. Shout out to Thaddeus Matthews and all the people on the internet that put all the info out there.
As to the parents' thoughts on the woman accused of their daughter's murder,
I'm a firm believer that some people do deserve a second chance. Don't get me wrong. But there's a degree of the morality and the moral stipulations of killing people, hurting people, doing harm to people. That should be a priority of saying, okay, this person may do this again. And until you're certain that they won't do it again, they need to do the time that they have done in order to be put there in the first place.
We have to trust in God that things will work out, that she's treated fairly in the system, and that's what we believe.
Where do you get that kind of forgiveness or at heart from?
It comes from God.
Perhaps the only source of that type of grace. Back out here live tonight, that father tells me that they are not people of great means. They say they had to max their credit cards just to get here to Memphis. Meanwhile, they have set up a GoFundMe page to help with the funeral expenses. If you would like to donate, just go to fox13memphis.com. Meanwhile, the ex-husband who you heard from there, he says that he does not believe that this murder was simply over a food order. More on that coming up at 10. DG.
That is Fox 13's Daniel Wilkerson live in Orange Mound. Daniel, thank you.
Her parents are great people. They had more words, comforting words, and wishes and prayers for the suspect than their daughter. They are some forgiving people. I don't know if I would be able to do that if that was my daughter. I hope I would, because God is always watching. Let's get back into it.
Day 2, and the woman accused of a fatal shooting at a Church's Chicken went back in front of a judge this Wednesday morning. Monica Williams is charged with first-degree murder for the fatal shooting that claimed the life of Anitra West. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst. Following the attack, photos of the accused were released by police as they were trying to arrest her. Although the woman was seen on video, the defense is saying that may not be enough to move forward. WRG's Dorita Patterson explains why her attorney is trying to get the case thrown out.
Monica Williams, a first-degree murder suspect, was escorted back into Judge Bill Anderson's courtroom Wednesday. The 45-year-old spoke briefly with her attorney, Scott Hall.
I have been retained.
She is accused of shooting to death Anitra West while the victim was at work at this Church's Chicken in Orange Mound last week. This all stemmed from an argument detectives explained in this affidavit. However, her attorney says is what you don't see in the report that he could capitalize on.
reviewing the affidavit, I haven't seen any list of witnesses on this case, so we may be also making a motion to dismiss.
This case has garnered a lot of attention, sitting 5 rows away from Williams were half a dozen of her family members. Williams, who has mostly appeared unemotional, could be seen wiping away tears before pulling down her mask, smiling, mouthing words, and finally giving her family an okay hand gesture. But District Attorney Steve Mulroy says nothing about this case is okay.
Ordinary disputes, ordinary beefs that would have just been at most a shoving match are now fatal. And it means we need tougher gun laws, but it also needs we to be extra vigilant on bringing these people to justice.
Mulroy also addressed the defense's claim about any possible lack of witnesses.
It is not unusual for us to get convictions based on video surveillance evidence, even if there are no actual live witnesses.
As you heard Defense Attorney Hall say, he may move to have this case dismissed, but the operative word there is may. That has yet to be seen. What we do know for sure is the bond hearing is set to happen inside this courtroom Monday. We'll certainly keep you updated. Reporting for your news leader inside the CJC, Jarita Patterson, WREG, News Channel 3.
Defense Attorney Scott Hall says the bond hearing could allow the victims' loved ones to also address the court. Again, Monica Williams is set to go back before the judge.